Hey y'all, what's up? This is my first live on Instagram, and I feel like I finally have a place where I can just come and really just blog, right? Just blog all of my thoughts and things that are happening in real estate, ways that I feel like, I can help you guys be protected. This channel is going to consist a lot in regards to protecting yourself, being aware of false opportunities, fake opportunities, bringing awareness to, fraudulent deals and things like that. So, one of the things I want to touch on today is bad property management. Okay. So, a lot of you may be like, yo, T, I really want to be a real estate investor. I want to have multifamily. I want to be able to invest. I want to be able to have ownership. And all of that is fun, right? But some days you got to roll up your sleeves and you got to put on your big girl panties and or your big boy panties, right? And so, what that looks like is you want to make sure that you are choosing the right company to handle your baby. Your real estate investment is your baby. Okay, your real estate investment is your investment, and you want to make sure that you're giving your child to someone who's going to take care of your child the same way that you would, right? So, whenever you're thinking of choosing a property management company for your real estate investment, you want to make sure that you think of it just as a child. Would I trust my child to live here if I'm not available, if I'm not there? Like, would I trust that my child is in good hands, right? A lot of the times, we think it's okay just for anybody to watch our children, and then you realize that there's people that's really crazy, right? It's the same in real estate. You don't want to just give your properties over to anybody to watch, because they can literally bankrupt you. They can cause you to be sued. They can cause you to be in a bad investment. And so I want to give you guys just a few tactical things that you can look out for, a few questions you can ask a property management company if you are considering a property management company, just a few techniques to be able to help you guys be able to protect yourselves when giving over your property to a property management company. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is, before you give your property over to a property management company, you want to ask them for references of their current properties. The reason why you want to know what type of portfolio they have is because you want to be able to ride around. You want to see if they're keeping up with the property. You want to make sure that they're staying on the tenants about cutting grass and fixing broken windows and taking foil out the windows and making sure that the curb appeal looks good, right? You can tell a bad property management company if you go by one of their references and you realize that the property is a wreck, they got garbage all over the place. You can instantly tell that that property manager is not keeping up with that property. Okay, so one of the things you do is you say, hey, can I go see some of the properties that you have? I would love to see the type of management you do with your properties. The second thing that you want to pay attention to with a property management company is their fees, okay? There's so many ways to steal from you as a property owner. The number one way that property management companies steal from you is through their fees, okay? They hide things within their fees. They hide things, and if you are a new investor, you will miss those things because you don't know what you should be paying attention to, right? So for instance, if they are charging you to do a diagnostic fee, and then they're charging you per hour to get to your property, and then they're charging you to do the work at your property, then that means they're getting paid 3 different times. Let me break that down for you guys, okay? If this content is good, do me a favor, click the subscribe button. You guys know I'm building the YouTube. I'm going to be on here all the time talking to you guys, now that I know I can talk somewhere for more than an hour, right? But how they do it is they say, okay, well, first we're going to drive out to the property and we're going to diagnostic. That means that there's a fee that's associated with them to tell you what they believe the problem is. Okay. So they call you, they say, hey, Miss Smith, I'm over here at your property. I see that the water line has busted and you're going to have to get it fixed. And then they say, okay. Well, for them to go out, it may be $65 or $75 just to go out and tell you that. Okay. Then the second part is, now they want to charge you the time that they're there to be able to fix it. So what that looks like is maybe they charge, another $65 to $75 an hour. So if it take them 3 to 4 hours, you're spending a few $100s just on the actual service that's being done. Then you got to pay for your material. Okay, your material. So then you like, oh my goodness, right? So it starts to add up. I was in a situation recently with a property management company where they charged me to tell me that the stove burner was not working. That was $187. Then they turned around, they had to go buy the part, put the part on. So then that was a few $100s in just service hours because they're charging me to do it. And then they said, oh, we bought the parts, it did not work, and now you have to get a new stove. So now I got to pay for the stove to go in. But not only do I got to pay for the stove to go in, guess what? I got to pay for them to go get the stove, bring the stove to the property, and set it up. So by the time I finish, a $400 stove end up costing me $1,200 in fees. So let me help that make sense. They made $800 off of me just because they had to do a diagnostics. They went and did the part. They tried to fix it. They could not. So they didn't care. They still said I was there for those hours. So they didn't even care that they didn't even fix the problem. Then on top of that, they had to go and get a new stove. So I got to pay for them to go drive and get the new stove. And then after I pay for them to drive to get the new stove, guess what else I have to do? Now I got to pay for them to install it because now they're back at the property. So a lot of these property management steal from you guys through all of the fees that they charge. There was one property that I was looking at, that one of my friends, they actually purchased, and they hired this property management company. Mind you, they had a little 4x4 porch that needed to be built on their front porch. The management company charged them over $34,000 to do that little porch. Something is wrong with that. So I say all of that to say you want to watch the fees that they are charging you, because this is where property management steals at, right? Another way property management steals from you is through rent, okay? So what happens is a lot of property management companies will charge you the first month rent as a commission. That means that they if the rent is $700, okay, and the deposit is $700, the deposit of $700 goes into what's called a rental trust account. The $700, the lease out fee, the first month's rent goes to that property management company. So every time they have to rent your property out, they're going to charge you $700. So what happens is they find a tenant, they put a tenant in there. To me, they may not do the best job at, checking the references and doing their due diligence on the tenant, that, they are concerned about getting that lease out fee. So they'll place the tenant in your property, okay? And then you got to pay that. So what does that look like now, right? So you done paid $700 for a lease out fee. The next month come, guess what happens? The tenant don't pay their rent. Do that make sense? The tenant don't pay their rent. So because the tenant is not paying their rent, guess what happens? They got to evict them. So now you didn't even get the next month rent. You haven't gotten a dollar off this property yet. Property management has gotten paid, but you have not gotten a dollar yet. So that means that property management has now been paid. Now they got to do the eviction process. You know who have to pay for the eviction process? You do. So what happens is, because you got to pay for the eviction process, guess what happens? Now you paying for eviction process on a tenant that you never even collected a dime from. Not only that, then you got to get a new tenant in there. You know what happens? They charge you another lease out fee. So if you're not careful, these property management companies will be charging you all type of fees and you have no clue about it. So you want to make sure that you're monitoring that. So for instance, one of the things I put in place whenever I figured out what the property management company was doing was, I told them that they get paid the first month's rent and commission second, meaning that the first month come to me. If you get the second month, then it goes to you. There's different measures you can put in place, even with the one about the travel expenses and diagnostics and things like that. You can just simply say, I pay you 10% a month to manage my property. I'm not paying all of those fees. That is ridiculous. And if they say no, then all you do is find another company, maybe a different company in the area that would be a little bit more accommodating to what you need. Another way that property management companies steal through you is that they double dip. Okay, what does that mean? So let's say that there's someone, there's a repair that's needed at the property. Okay, they're gonna call somebody to come and do the repair. Now, mind you, they already getting paid because of the service call. They're gonna call somebody to come do the repair. Well, when they call somebody to come do the repair, it's usually one of their buddies. So then they end up getting a referral fee off of that deal as well. So now, because they got to pay out a referral fee anytime your property management call them, guess what? They're charging you more money up front because of the simple fact that they have to pay out all these affiliate fees. So it's not always good to have a property management company using their buddy for the AC when the AC guy's just going to keep marking up the cost. So a lot of the times when people get into real estate investing, they see all of the sexiness, they see all the fun stuff, the easy stuff, the HGTV is what I call it, that wow factor. But they never really see the meat and the potatoes of what goes on behind the scenes, right? There are a lot of property management companies that are not qualified to be a property management company. Another thing is this: it is customary for residential properties to be charged 10%, okay, management fee. Now, up in Florida, they charge, 12, 20%, but down, most residential properties that's not vacation rentals, it's about 10%. Okay. So if you have a property management company that's trying to charge you more than 10%, then you're probably going to want to pay attention to that. You're probably going to want to take a look at that because, it's very competitive out here to find a property management company that would be able to manage your properties. But again, those are things that you can find, you can negotiate, you can talk about. I just don't want you guys being stuck with all kind of fees and things like that. I want to be able to see comments. I don't know how to see comments on here. Y'all help me. How do I see my comments on here? All right, I don't know how to see comments on here, but I would love, I would love to know like what you guys' thoughts on property management, because a lot of the times people just want to get started in real estate and not even think about, how to take care of the asset. Yeah, you're having the baby and you about to give birth to it. You about to close on your property, but have you thought about the due diligence process? Have you thought about how you're going to walk this out and how that's going to make sense and how that looks? So you want to make sure that you don't get caught up in all of the fluff of real estate, and make sure that you are dotting your I's and crossing your T's and making sure that you are in investable deals, making sure that you're giving your baby to someone you can trust, right? How dare you have a baby, you love this baby, and then you give it over to a stranger? Says no one. We don't do that. So why would I hand my property over to someone who I don't know, who I won't vet, who I won't verify? So I'm going to do everything I possibly can whenever I close on my property to make sure that I give it to the best property management company. Now, some of you may say, well, I want to be the property manager, and that can very well be the case. But let me tell you something, property management is not for the weak. Property management is not for those who would throw in the towel and be ready to cry and quit every few days, because property management is a whole nother beast. You would you'd be ready to curse out a few people. You know what I'm saying? Tenants calling you, getting a nasty attitude. Don't they mad at you because they can't pay their rent, but they want to take it out on you, right? Some of you hear sob stories and you be like, oh, I can't do that. See, like, I can't put them out their property. Like, I don't want to do that, right? We have to understand that this is a business that we are in, okay? Real estate is a business, and you want to make sure that you're treating it as a business, but also know that it is still your baby, and you want your baby to be taken care of. So when you're out here and you are investing, you want to make sure that you are vetting these property management companies, right? There's a property management company in our area that I would never recommend to anybody. These people are disgusting. They steal. I have seen them steal. I have witnessed it myself, right? They are stealing from people, and they will not be in business long, because people like me do report people that take advantage of people and steal from people. So you want to make sure that, if you don't have somebody that you can talk to in the area that you're buying, get 3 or 4 referrals. Check them out. Verify their receipts. They should have receipts. And you also don't want, another thing is, you don't want a property management company that has 10,000 properties and you got one. That's one company watching 10,000 babies, and now you're bringing yours. They're going to care about the mother that's bringing 500 babies at a time. They're not going to care about your one-off. Okay, that's just the truth. They're not going to care. So you want to be conscious of that, right? Let me tell you guys something. Real estate investing is an amazing opportunity. There's 49% of Americans who rent property. 49%. That is half of the American population. So there is a large opportunity for you to get into the real estate investing game and to be able to create passive income. Now, I share all these things with you guys to look for within property management, but let me tell you something. It's not that it's a bad thing. It's not saying don't invest in real estate. It's not saying, oh my gosh, I need to be scared. Here is something else I can be terrified about. This is simply preparing you to be able to walk in an unknown territory that you've never been able to walk in before. Real estate investing, if you can get free content like what I'm giving right now and listen to other people on the internet that actually have receipts and been through this wilderness, then you're probably going to be okay, right? You want to get a great coach, a great mentor, but you want to be able to listen to someone who have some receipts, who have report that can say, hey, this is what took place, this is what I went through, and this is how I'm overcoming it. In regards to the property management company I'm talking about, of course I'm going to share who they is to the people. If somebody asks me, hey, do you have a property management company you can refer us to? I absolutely do. And I also have a list that I recommend against, right? Like, I'm not steering against the companies, but because they have done this thing unethical, and this thing unethical, I am convinced that they're going to continue being unethical. That makes sense? So because I know that, I'm not about to place people I know in harm's way. Okay? Another thing you want to watch for with your property management company is that if they don't do inspections on your property, guys, like if they don't do inspections on your property would get what's called deferred maintenance. And then now it's costing you more money every time a new tenant come in. Every time you got to place a new tenant, deferred maintenance, deferred maintenance, deferred maintenance. So if they're letting all these small repairs go, they're going to add up to bigger repairs. So you want to be careful to make sure that your property management company is doing everything they possibly can to get you the most money back every single month. So the goal and the more of this live is to focus on choosing the right property management company, asking the right questions. Subscribe to my channel, all 12 of y'all, okay? Subscribe to my channel. And I'm going to continue pouring out here, right? I'm going to continue hopping on, just giving you guys free game. I want you guys to win in real life. I want you guys to be able to have a place where you can come and listen to honest, unbiased real estate advice. Things that work for me, things that didn't work for me. I don't know everything. I don't pretend to know everything, but I do know a lot. I've been doing it 19 years. So I think I have, some history right there, right? But happy investing, happy investing, happy investing, happy investing. This is my Friday tip. This is your girl, Terica Lynn Smith. Thank you for joining my very first live on Instagram. I am grateful for all of you that are on here, and for everyone that will listen. Click the subscribe button because I'm going to be giving free game on Fridays. All right, I'm out.